But sometimes, a painting can have an actual physical effect on you. It gets under your defenses and sidesteps the "it's only a painting" reflex and creates a visceral feeling that might as well be real. Antoine Wiertz's The Premature Burial has that effect. When looking at it, a brutal sense of claustrophobia emerges, not only physical, but psychologically. The feeling of being lost, of being left behind, and ultimately, losing your life. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. What are we actually seeing here? The first thing you notice is the hands. One grips the coffin lid with desperate strength, the other reaches blindly into darkness. You don't even have to see the person behind it to instantly recognize the terror running through his body. Behind the shadow of the coffin, his face emerges, mouth and eyes stretched wide open. Looking a bit to the side, you'll notice an inscription that reads "Mort du cholera," meaning death by cholera, with a painted cross above it. As your eyes adjust, more details appear. Roughly built coffins, scattered tools, pieces of bone, everything you'd expect in an underground burial vault. Except for one thing. The man inside the coffin isn't dead. Wiertz uses framing to highlight exactly where your eyes should be drawn. The stone arch, the lid resting above the victim, and even the broken coffin to the left all draw your eye back to the man desperately trying to escape. To understand why this subject was so powerful, we have to look back. The 19th century was marked by sudden epidemics. Cholera and typhus struck without warning, and medical diagnosis was far from reliable. There are documented cases of people waking up in crypts or being discovered breathing only when their vaults were reopened. It happened frequently enough that a group called the Society for the Prevention of People Being Buried Alive was formed. Some coffins were even designed with bells or ventilation tubes, just in case someone regained consciousness underground. This fear eventually reached writers as well, most famously Edgar Allan Poe. His story, The Premature Burial, describes a man whose paralysis makes him appear dead, only to find himself being buried alive. Sound familiar? Wiertz had read Poe's story, and it directly inspired him to paint his own version of that nightmare. Antoine Wiertz himself was a deeply polarizing figure. Some saw him as a visionary ahead of his time. Others thought his enormous, theatrical canvases were excessive or even absurd. What is clear is Wiertz's obsession with the darker edges of human experience: death, decay, fear. Many of his paintings portray violence, mythological horror, or dramatic suffering. And yet, The Premature Burial might be one of his most psychologically grounded works. It's one thing to be in danger of losing your life. It's another to have hours and hours fully conscious to think about it. When the painting was first exhibited, reactions were intense. Visitors felt uneasy. Some even turned away. Critics called the image unlucky, disturbing, and too real for the public. People questioned Wiertz's sanity, while others admired how fearlessly he confronted a subject everyone else avoided. He wasn't trying to show death itself. He wanted to capture the instant before it, the moment someone realizes what is happening. The strained muscles, the trembling hand, the eyes locking onto something just outside the canvas. It's not the horror of violence, it's the horror of understanding. You begin to realize that even if the man could escape the coffin, there would still be no way for him to survive. And there is one final detail. Wiertz himself feared being buried alive. In his will, he insisted on being embalmed, not out of vanity, but because he did not trust the doctors of his time. This painting, then, isn't just an illustration of a cultural fear. It is a deeply personal one. So yes, no wonder this painting terrified everyone who saw it. It may look like a dramatic scene from another century, but the fear beneath it is timeless.